Monroe Monday, August the 1st. Hope everyone's having a great day. Like I said, time and time again, significant rain over the past, couple of weeks now. And still going to supposed to get a little bit more. For some people in eastern Kentucky, got a significant amount. I think the death toll is up to like 25 now from what I've been reading. And of course, they're still scavenging the area, looking for people that they can't find, and just trying to help everybody out that they can. I mean, there are a lot of people they can't even get to without helicopters, and just several different things. So, our next guest is here. They call him Mr. Bill.
Mr. Bill,
Mr.
that's
Bill.
me.
Bill Young. And he is with Cub Pack 1023, I believe it is.
That is correct.
And last time I had him and Tia on here, and we talked about Cub Scouts. And it seemed like every time I turn Facebook on, there's something going on. I mean, y'all stay busy.
We do. We do.
I mean, that's good. Keep the kids involved. And I mean, it just seems like there's a slew of kids in the Cub Scouts now.
There is. It's a large program. And coupled with that, now we have an official Boy Scout troop here in Tompkinsville, Troop 23. And in a girls troop, not Girl Scouts, but girls troop, Troop 10. And so they're meeting this Thursday for their second meeting. We're going to teach them how to use propane stoves. And the Boy Scouts, when I say Boy Scout, that's really a misnomer. When I say Scouts, BSA is what I'm supposed to say, because it is inclusive, both boys and girls in our community. We have expanded that to the older young adults, and it's been met with great fanfare. Of course, Troop 23 is the troop that is a legacy troop here. It was the 23rd oldest troop in the country, and even T.K. Chisholm was a scoutmaster at one time in the 30s and 40s. So it goes a long ways back. It took me a lot of work to get that number. Nobody wanted to give me that number. I had to go all the way to the top to get it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did. I had to go all the way to the top to get it, but with a little perseverance, you can get things done. But yeah, we're growing. We have it's hard to say honestly how many kids we have. It fluctuates from 40 to 70. We had a huge scout camp, day camp here recently. We'll talk about it here in a moment. But yeah, it's really growing. Really excited. Lots of volunteers. Can't say enough about all of the volunteers. I'd start to name them, but I'd forget somebody and hurt somebody's feelings. But those folks near and dear to me know who I'm speaking of. They do.
I noticed their neighbor up here, Miss Amy, had a bunch of tents set up in her yard this weekend.
Miss Amy is a big supporter of our group. She had a big birthday party too, and of course Amy's children had never been camping before we introduced them to that. So when we bring families in, these are family events that we include them in. We want them to take those events back home, and then ultimately go in trips and short day trips, short long trips, whatever they do, and take those skills that we teach with them to prosper in their family. Yeah, it's a good program.
Get them out of the house and away from TVs and video games and just sitting around.
Man, it's that's the hardest thing to overcome, and with some children we don't overcome with that, but with 99.9%, once we get them out, the first thing when they join, what they want to know is when we're going camping, and then they want to know when we're going fishing. So we introduce them both to that, and we're very fortunate to have a wonderful facility just 20 minutes from here at Camp Rotary. And most people aren't familiar with Camp Rotary.
Okay, tell us about where it's at.
Okay, so Camp Rotary is in Temple Hill, and if you're familiar with Temple Hill, as you top the hill going out of Temple Hill, there's a little park on the left at the top of the hill. Most people have never, I don't even know the name of it. I had never stopped there. and you go down, just you top the hill, and there's a road turns left. Well, 3/10 of a mile back there is it's almost 100 years old now, Boy Scout reservation that just grew up to nothing. Rotary of Glasgow owns it. They have been remodeling and trying to clean up. But we took Boy Scout Troop 23 and parents and all the parents we could get, and we went in there and cleaned the place up. And it's filled with cabins and fishing lakes and hiking trails and just big old gill well buildings. It was built for Boy Scouts. 120 acres of fun and at our disposal. So we just had a day camp there, about 60 kids, 54 kids I think, we had water slides, but the big lake is stocked. I shouldn't tell this on the air. And we were pulling out cats. I never seen catfish that big, and perch and bluegill as big as my face. I never seen fish that big. And so I shouldn't tell that at all. But it is solely for the use of Boy and Girl Scouts, and it's a fabulous facility. And I've been around here my whole life, didn't even know it was there. I was introduced to it by accident. I went to an adult training course there. It was pretty rough then, but with a little elbow grease and a lot of determination, we brought it back around to where it's absolutely beautiful now.
Yeah, you were talking about that park. I mean, I've been by that park many times, and I think it's got the name has Rotary in it also.
It probably does.
But I didn't know anything about what you were talking about.
Yeah, most people don't, and it's the best kept secret in Barron County, I promise you. But you pull back in there and you go, oh man, I guess you go a half a mile off the road down this long lane. Then it opens up a great big log building. And it's got a gill well field, which is what we in Boy Scouting we call a wood badge parade field. And then you go down another lane, and there's another great big cabin. And then from the 1920s, there are 9 concrete block huts, and they're like 12 foot by 8 foot, and they're filled with bunk beds and little wood burning stoves, and that's where the scouts and the scoutmasters would stay. And each one of those little huts has a bronze plaque on it, recognizing a scoutmaster that served over the years, over the decades.
You said 1920s.
Yeah, it's an old camp. Yeah.
Wow.
And there was a picture that surfaced with Carol Moore as a scout and other men, but I just recognized Carol, and he was a little boy, and TK was his scoutmaster. So, and that was from the mid 30s, and so it's been around a long time. We have a long and cherished history with it in Boy Scouts, and we want to continue that. And we want to introduce that to all the young people that we can, the families as well. It's a great time, especially when we camp there. It's a great bonding experience for families. These folks that really have to come together in a struggle, because if you've never slept outside, waking up to a tent full of spiders is a struggle. Or waking up and it raining and you didn't waterproof your tent is a struggle. So these are cherished memories that families don't forget, and that's what we want to share with them, those memories.
Now, I know you've probably done some history. How far back does Monroe County go?
Monroe County goes a long ways in Boy Scouts. I don't know the exact year. I have not gotten that far back in my history. But to where the number 23 is a rare and cherished honor. Boy Scout troops now are 4 digits. So you don't get anything less than thousands. And they don't go backwards. So once a troop folds, it doesn't go back in your district.
That's the reason why you had trouble getting that number.
Man, I could have got an amendment to the Constitution easier than I could have got that number. And I did everything short of blackmail to get it, but it just meant a lot to me, and it meant a lot to Steve Hagan, a lot, Dr. Michael Carter. There are a lot of men that served here in that troop as boys and as scoutmasters, and so for me to get the community involved, what in my own mind, I needed that number. I needed those legacy scouts so that they can say, yeah, I wore that patch. Or you'd be amazed how many of them still have their scout uniform and they bring it out and it's still got 23 on it. It means a ton to these young people, especially to these men and women that they look up to in this community.
Now, how do you keep a number?
Well, you have to stay chartered year to year. And what that means is you have a charter org representative or a chartered organization here in town that says, yes, we are going to make sure that they have a place to meet, that they're well funded, that they will abide by all the rules and regulations of BSA, especially in the matters of the scout law. And they basically, we think of them as the owner of the troop. So Hagen and Stone is our charter org rep, and with Steve Hagen. And, you know, Steve traveled all over the country or all over the world. He was in Japan and all over the country with Boy Scouts, Philmont, New Mexico, and other places. So these men have a deep root here, and Steve was actually the one that brought Cub Scouting back to Tompkinsville. And I just showed up one day to sign my son up. And I had been in scouting, you know, for about 30 years, but I had never served as a scoutmaster, which is a rare honor. And Ashton Ballard asked me, the lady that was our district executive there, she goes, would you care to serve in any capacity? Because it's impossible to find people that want to step up to that level of responsibility. And I said, sure, just put me wherever you want. And the next thing I know, they were pinning Cub Master, and I was totally unprepared for what the onslaught was going to come. We immediately signed up about 40 youths, and we were absolutely unprepared for what we faced.
What was next?
Yeah, what was next? Yeah, what was next?
All right, let's take a break, and we'll be right back with Cub Scouts and Bill Young.
Cover all these bases.
25-7.
Welcome back, Monroe Monday. Of course, that last commercial was Rolling Insurance. Just want to put out there again that they now have an office also in Burkesville. So here in Tompkinsville, Glasgow, and Burkesville, that's Rolling Insurance. And continue talking to Mr. Bill Young. And of course, his wife Tia couldn't be with us today. She's doing her public job. And she's a big part of the Scouts also.
Man, she's a huge part. She is the part. I tell people all the time, she's the brains and I'm the brawn. And but without her, and this will be sung in unison, we wouldn't enjoy the program that we enjoy today. And I say that earnestly, not just because I have to go face her this afternoon, but because she wholeheartedly, 24/7, worries about these kids, worries about this program, and it means the world to her.
She's a mother.
She's a mother, and she mother hens them all. And when they're sick, she knows. And when one of them, we got one with a broken arm, couldn't come to day camp, and I thought she was going to cry. And so it's just she plays a huge part in all the festivities. We were just speaking a moment ago about the Pinewood Derby race. We don't just have a race; that's an event of magnitude. And in this camp the Harry Potter camp that we just had, it wasn't just a camp. As Miss Terry said, they came down from Louisville, and they said it had the most pizzazz of any camp they had ever had, I've ever seen. And these are lifelong Scout executives. So she puts it wholeheartedly in it, and we couldn't do it without her. That's the absolute truth. It wouldn't be the same.
What else would you like to talk about?
Well, we've got Operation Readiness coming up, Randy Ritchie's program, and this will be in Morgantown, but our kids are traveling there, families. What they do is they fly in 2 rescue helicopters. There'll be several EMTs and fire trucks and police officers, and it introduces the kids to all these programs and not only just introduce them to the program, but to the people that serve in those capacities. So we want these kids to be comfortable around their fellow, the police officers here. We want them to know that the firemen are here for their safety and comfort. We want them to know that it's not scary to get on a helicopter if they have to. they're cutting cars apart and doing all kinds of things. Of course, we add in the normal elements of archery and BB guns, and there'll be classes for youth protection, which is a huge part of our program, the youth protection program, and for the adults, and just a great big event. We've got an overnight at the Hot Rods baseball game where we'll empty the stadium after the baseball game, and the scouts will get to camp on the baseball field. And lots of things coming up. Barren River, we're doing a lake cleanup in October. We're going to walk around and go to the islands and clean up around the lake and do our civic duty, our service as well. We always have to have community service associated with that.
Right. Sounds good. So is this something that goes on every year at different places then?
It does. It does. We have programs. We try to disperse them so that it's evenly dispersed through our district. And so we might be at Camp Rotary 1 month, and then we'll be at the Morgantown facility, or we might be in Lambkin Park in Bowling Green, or in Camp Crooked Creek in Bardstown. So we move these programs around so that everybody can enjoy it. It's not such a financial burden on one particular group. Give you an example. In our group, we have people that come from as far away. In our Cub Scout pack here in Tompkinsville, we have people that drive from Campbellsville to attend the Cub Scout meetings here. So to lessen that load, our long-term goal is to put a Cub Scout pack there. And
I was going to say they don't have a scout.
No, they don't. They don't have a scout program there. And and of course, Cub Scout programs always feed into BSA programs. And because that's where the element comes from. They grow into the older scouter programs from the Cub Scout program. So yeah, it's a dispersal, and it's a big effort. To get a helicopter to fly in from Nashville is a big effort. It's there's a lot going on that behind the scenes a lot of folks don't see. Like Miss Tia, for example, she's got about 100 hours of classroom training just to put on that one camp. Everything in the world had to be documented, and first aid, and we had a first aid man come in from Louisville and teach about 20 adults CPR and first aid training. Well, that just benefits our community,
Right.
because we have 20 adults that are first aid certified, EMT certified. So these programs feed off of each other, and nothing but Monroe County benefits from it. From that, we live by the 13 rules, and we try to instill these values into children on a bi-monthly basis, and all the programs are towards that in a patriotic manner. Some things that are lost in our world, I think. But
I know we've talked about this in the past, but we'll go over it again. What age group does a child need to start in?
we start in kindergarten, and we call them lions. And lions and tigers are combined here, so we call those ligers. And then Tia runs the Liger program, and she does a fantastic job of it. She has her little minions, that follow her to Sunday school and everywhere. And so the Sunday school classes blossom because the program. And then Wolves and Bears, and then Webelos, which is an acronym for We Be Loyal Scouts. They are in that program 2 years. That's 4th and 5th graders. And then from there, we graduate or bridge them to Boy Scouts. And bridging is a big event. It's a big event. It's a tearjerker for mamas, because we put them on the bridge at City Park, and we pass them to adulthood over that bridge. And mama realizes that at that point that her little boy or little girl has grown up. And then they move into the Boy Scout program, or the BSA program. I keep saying that, but that's just horrible. That's a 50-year habit, But then they move into that program. And Scout programs, BSA, the older programs are Scout-led. And that's one thing that a lot of folks don't understand. There is a Scoutmaster, but all he does is he gets them to where they're going, and he keeps them from getting hurt. They plan it, they run it, they have their own hierarchy of rank, and they run their own programs from week to week. So it's a great character building program for young adults. They learn through 105 merit badges through their interests. They learn how to grow into adulthood by it forces them to go deeper into their interests. And for radio, for example, we have a program, a ham radio program, and we have children that are interested in radio. So we it forces them to get deeper and to come talk to Mr. Randy or Miss Terry, and who knows where those things lead. First aid. It's not just camping.
Right.
They learn aquatics and survival skills, and they learn how to ride a horse, and they learn how to shoot a gun and safety and
A
all
lot of
those
common
things.
sense stuff that you need in life too.
Yeah, that's that we took for granted. If you grew up on a farm or in the country, you took for granted. But now, like we have kids that in BB gun shoots. I always have a custom-made BB gun made by Daisy, and it's all gold inlaid. Best of the best, like Winchester '73, the movie. Whoever wins the BB gun shoot gets the BB gun. And you wouldn't believe these kids how they compete. But a lot of these kids are shooting center fire rifles at home, and we have to instill in them safety rules even with BB guns. So they take that, and hopefully those rules and those that thought process keeps us from losing a young adult through a gun accident. Those are the goals here in our program. We don't want to see any more drowned children. We don't want to see any more gun accidents or anything like that. Every bit of that, when we teach a program, every bit of that is in the back of our mind, getting these kids to adulthood. And with all these interests in mind, all of these things that, that they'll take to the next level and maybe to their children as well.
There's that. You said you started about kindergarten. Is there a stopping point? Is there an age group?
There is. It's 18 years old. And you can apply for Eagle up to 18, and then after that, there's a venture program that takes you to 20 years old. Venturing and scouting is career minded instead of interest minded. Now the venture programs, let's say that your son or daughter wants to be in law enforcement. Well, the venture program will pair them with law enforcement officials, and they will teach them the law enforcement field up to they're 20 years old. So, but at 18, that's the last part of being as far as you can go with an Eagle Scout. Most of them earn it around 14 years old, and then they fume out. Perfumes and car fumes usually takes them away, and but we try to keep them as long as we can.
You said there was 108. You say 108 patches? Is that right?
105.
105.
105.
So you have to have 105 before you even become an Eagle Scout, right?
No, 23.
Oh.
But you have to have 23 minimum. Most go over 100 by the time they get those 23. We teach them civics, for example, or a brand new one that's come into play is diversity in our society. So to come to understand that this is a very diverse world that we live in, and that you can't live in this world with a judgmental heart. So we teach this through the merit badge program. Those minimum 23 are those that you have to move to the next level in society. Most of them have, by that time they've already got their camping and they've got their boating, and we've took them rafting, and so they get merit badges for all these things, not just for showing up for the event, but excelling in that particular field. It's tough on them. By that, they have to do a service a community project that's original. They have to present that to a board, and it has to get past me ultimately. It can't be you just put a flagpole up somewhere. You've got to show me that you're going to study pollution in City Park and how the rainwater is affecting the City Park water levels, or it's affecting the fish, or anything like that matter. No more just building mailboxes like when I was in Boy Scouts.
All right, we're about out of time. Any closing remarks, Bill, before
No.
we let you go?
Well, we want you to know we're getting ready. Popcorn sales is around the corner. It's the first time we've ever done a fundraiser, and we're doing this fundraiser. It's online. It'll be on our Facebook page. please go in and support these kids. These kids get a great portion of the money that's raised. So, when you look at a $10 or $15 donation, that keep in mind that goes towards scouts, tents and uniforms and all these things that are difficult for families to raise. We want to thank the community, especially First Baptist Church, for supporting us in every manner, which way. And Brother Devin Smith, he has just been an utmost supporter of ours there. So many people I couldn't list in this community that we are thankful for, but they know who they are. They know by the sound of my voice who they are, and we appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks to the City Fathers. And the last plug, this is shameless. Watermelon Festival, we're going to have a dunking tank. We're going to put Michael Bowe and all the City Fathers in the dunking tank, and for $5 you're going to be able to put him in the water. And Brother Michael knows I love him. But we're going to put City Police, and Old Bill's even going to be in the dunking tank. And we've got a whole list of people that are going to be there at the Watermelon Festival. We're looking forward to that as well.
All right, that's at Watermelon Festival. It's Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day weekend. Looking forward to it.
All right.
Going to get wet.
So come out and help out the scouts. Appreciate Bill coming in. That's all the time we have for today. So hope everyone has a great day. And rebroadcast tonight at 6 p.m. right here on Kicks Country. And also you can watch it again on Facebook on the Monroe page. Hope everyone has a great day and enjoy.